when I was picking up the cookies, I saw these cinnamon twists I thought were really very interesting, and immediately I said, I gotta buy some because that's a bonus shot. So we're gonna jump into it. I'm just gonna go ahead and set this thing up. I've got a very clear idea in my head of what I wanna do with this, and I'm gonna jump into it. So, like I said, I thought these things were really visually pretty interesting, and I'm gonna do a horizontal shot this time because I wanna do a really long horizontal shot that's 14 by 22. I like going through my portfolio and having a lot of the 11 by 14 verticals broken up with a nice big horizontal. So I'm just going to do a stack of these things and kind of try to make something cool. So let's see what happens, all right? All right, so since I'm shooting in Capture One, I'm going to start a new session for this shot. We do that with every shot that we do, so we're going to go up here. Okay, let's take a real quick look and see what this looks like. I know it's going to need work without question. So I still have my mirror locked up, and I'm going to switch my crop. That right now is completely full frame. I want to get my 14 by 22 on here, which I've already got preset in there. Okay, I'm definitely in too tight. It's just too massive, too much. And I don't have enough depth going back. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna shift this a little bit. And I need something going on in the background, which I'm gonna build towards. This ball head, it can hold the weight of the camera, but it really doesn't lock very well. All right, let's see if this is any better. And then I'm going to start introducing some stuff in the background to give it a little bit of life. Okay, one thing for sure, I need a fill card. So I'm going to bring a white card in here in order to give this a little bit of fill. I'm going to put it on a C-arm just to kick some light back in there because it's really kind of dark. All right, so I'm going to do a few things. Somehow we got to make this a little bit more interesting, right? So we're going to add a couple elements in the background. Without question, that need to be there. Okay, that makes a big difference. Adding a small fill card just in the front in order to get the ends of the twist to light up. And then we added a couple of glasses in the back. One's a coffee cup, and I'm actually going to make that into coffee. I'm going to put a little bit in there, which is going to help draw the eye back there. It's also going to pick up on the color of the cinnamon, which will be nice. It'll give it a little bit of additional complexity as we add that color in the background. And then I think finally, I want to add a little bit of shading. I'm going to put a dark black card in there in order to suck up some light, so that corner just kind of goes dark and pops off a little bit. The other thing I see that I don't like is this knot in the wood. I like what's going on with kind of the striations of the wood. I just don't like that knot in particular, so we'll play with that in post. All right, so I want to make coffee in this mug back here, but I don't want to use coffee. And the reason is because coffee is actually very, very oily. And it will shine and kind of look gross. So The way we make coffee is to use a little bit of Kitchen Bouquet. A little bit should go a long way. This stuff is versatile. It's a lot more than just for sauces. So we're gonna make a little bit of coffee with it. And the thing I want to do is kind of build it up. I don't want to start with a really, really dark color. I want to build it up. I mean, right now that looks a little tea-like, which might not be bad. In fact, let's take a quick look at that and see what we think. All the light drop. You can see that we're losing light as we're getting here towards the end of the day, so I'm going to want to bump my exposure a bit. That definitely feels like tea, and I think I want it to feel more like coffee. So let's add a little bit more Kitchen Bouquet and make it a little bit darker. So again, I'm just going to build this up and kind of get in the realm of where I want it to be by going slow. And the nice thing about this, there's absolutely zero oil, so the coffee isn't going to glare. And let's add just a hair of cream, because may as well. Might be kind of nice, right like that. In fact, let's get that before it goes. Ooh, that's kind of cool. I like that little bit of swirling too. I don't even think I'm going to touch it. Quite honestly, I think I like that. Now, I added a couple of things here in the upper left side. I'm just going to bring them in a little bit more, kind of change them, create a little bit of a dark spot. I may even add a black cardigan. Yeah, that's feeling better. I'm going to move that back just a little bit. Now, I think I need a little bit more light as things are dying with the sun going down. I want to add a little bit more light here in the front. So again, I'm going to use one of my silver cards. I'm going to lock up my mirror. Just going to take a quick look at this. You can see how much light this throws. It's really going to light up the ends of this thing. Much better. Let's take a quick look at that. This is with the silver card, and I concentrated the silver card in this area right here. I didn't want it to go completely over there because, again, I want the eye to kind of lead, and it needs a little bit of contrast in order for that to happen. And there's before, where these ends were really dark, and here's after. Now, I'm looking here, I like these crumbs. They're a little bit tight, like that one right on the edge I don't like, this one right on the edge I don't like. So again, I'm going to break out my brush. I'm just going to make a couple of really quick little changes, and we'll shoot it again. Lock it up. It's all about finding the right light and bringing it back into the food. I like it. I've got a couple of tangents I don't like. This is horrible. Like if I put this out right now, I'm going to hate it later because that is right on the very edge. So I got to change my crop. I need to move something in order to alleviate that edge. It's far too close. So let's go up here to the crop tool, see what we have, see how much room we have. You know what? I think I'm going to want to bring all that in. I like seeing the top of the very top cinnamon twist as well. We're just losing too much. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull this crop a little bit wider. See what that looks like. I think that's nicer. Now, one of the things that I'm doing here, I step back and I take a look at it, and I also defocus my eyes. And what I mean by that is I'll stand here and I'll look at it and I'll stare at it and I'll let my eyes kind of wander, so I'm not actually focusing on the image. The reason I do that is because things will jump out at you. You'll see something in that form when you allow your eyes to defocus on it that's going to be like, I'm not sure if that's quite right. One of the things I'm seeing is just this little speck over here. To me, I know it's a crumb, but it looks like it could be something on the sensor. And actually it's not. It's this hole right here. So there's a little bit of probably an old nail hole in this piece of wood. To me, that looks like a dust spot on the sensor. So in post, I am going to go ahead and clean that up because that's just not quite right. All right, again, allowing my eyes to defocus, come back in. I see I've got a line of crumbs right here, a really dry spot. There's a lot of crumbs under there, a lot of crumbs on this edge. I want to kind of make that feel a little bit more spontaneous. Remember what I said before, this is all about forced spontaneity. You want to look at this so it looks like it just kind of naturally happened, but it's not naturally happening. You are making this happen. There's no question, it's 100% forced. So we're going to kind of take the brush and get these to relax a little bit, get some off the edge. Also got this one on the edge I don't like at all anymore. That guy's coming out completely. All right. Last thing I want to do is double check my focus. So, right on this end, I feel like I'm a little soft. I'm going to tighten it up just a hair. Remember, macro makes everything fall off really fast. I'm actually going to increase my depth of field slightly. I want to add a stop, so I'm going to go to a second, and I'm going to go down here to 10, which really, F10 would seem like a lot when you're doing a portrait in particular. When you're doing food, no way. It's still nice and shallow. All right, so let's get our front light back in there. All right, I like it. Got rid of the things that were kind of bothering me. Added a few things in the background that also kind of say, okay, I'm here in this environment. There's a little bit of a group activity going on. It suggests that other people are with you. It's a clean, nice shot that invites the viewer in. And that's what you want to do. You want to draw the viewer into this and create that desire that, man, I don't know what those things are, but they look fantastic and I have to have one.